Wow, I'm kind of impressed.
Well, thank you very much.
I just saw you in Tall Man, and
Yes, you
now
did.
I'm seeing you just kicking some ass, driving all these cars. Talk about this character, man. This is really badass for you.
Thank you. She is super cool, super smart, capable, able person, street fighter, kind of amidst this, renegade sort of underground army of people that she's working with. Um, and she's got this instinct about this guy, and she's gonna stick with that gut feeling, even though there's so many things that tell her maybe this guy isn't who she thinks he is anymore. So it's a lot going on for her emotionally, kind of romantically in a sense. Yeah, physically, it's there's a lot happening, which is why she's so interesting.
How demanding is a role like this for you? Because you've done something like this before, but this seemed even more so. Just on a visceral level, on a physical level, everything. It was so intense.
Yeah, no, it was very intense, and Colin and I were sort of every day in, day out for 5 months, kind of dealing with all of these different elements, all of these choreographed scenes, these fight sequences, the hover cars, the car chase stuff. I mean, it was a lot, and I think it feels like more because it was more.
Yeah.
For example, like A-Team or something, I sort of played the Kate character who was sort of on everyone's tail.
Yeah.
And, I could come in and out of that schedule. This schedule was like relentless all day long, every day.
And you were awesome.
Well, thank you.
Now there was the thing about this film. Obviously, not looking into the remake as a remake, because it really almost doesn't feel like a remake to me. Almost feels like kind of going back to the short.
Exactly.
How did you prepare? Did you see the original film recently, or did you kind of avoid it?
No, I did see it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it was important to see, what was the real brilliance of that,
Yeah.
and what we want to stay totally away from. Tonally, specifically, these two movies are very different, and we did that on purpose. We're not trying to touch that film. We don't want to rip off anything except maybe a couple really key, iconic visuals from that original, just to give homage and respect to that original classic. So the preparation is just like everything else.
Yeah.
Just you want to create something authentic and something different. And I think it was good to see it, and it was good to enjoy it as a viewer and love it for its kind of kitsch and its kind of its beautiful sort of winking at the audience a little bit, which is something that we didn't want to do.
There is a definite there's a nice balance of seriousness. Yeah, it's not just so dark and depressing that
Yeah.
like a lot of I think sci-fi tends to turn towards the depressing.
It can it?
Yeah.
I mean, like our villains in this are kind of heightened, wonderful beings that really believe in what they're doing, like Bryan Cranston, for example. I mean, your villains can be so dark and mean and terrible, and he's just kind of so fabulously awful, He just brings such like a flair to a villain that you don't really expect. He just sort of relishes being such a good bad guy. And like that's one example that, one way we can lighten it just a little bit by casting someone like Brian who can just take that character and, make it soar.